Hello, I guess we started. How are you guys doing today? I'm Chit Fahadungs, and we're here again, this time to discuss how did you and I got into Anamorphics. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say, and I'm also going to share some footage from my very first Anamorphic project, which was my graduation work back at the university. So first of all, thanks to everyone who's here. I don't understand the thing that happens when it starts. Like everybody disappears and then the stream repopulates. I see Ankit is here. Hello, Ankit. Srabil is also here. Hello. I have a wrist thing this time. My wrist is not being great. I think it's the poor balanced camera, overweight lens, and a lot of computer time. I think it's technology to blame, plus old age. I'm 32. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining us this morning. Blake and I are here. Blake's over there. Are you?
I'm right where you're blocking me now.
Oh my god. Am I ducking now? Okay, all right. We got Blake. Oh, I see. I needed to go this way. Well, now I know. So yeah, Blake's here, and actually the video that's coming next Monday is the first thing you shot and edited for the channel, I think.
I did the edit for the Anamorphic video.
The Anamorphic. Oh yeah, the projector is true. Yeah, but this one you shot the whole thing.
Yes.
So we're gonna be doing some adapting of projector lenses to EF mount and seeing how they behave. It's a pretty interesting all-round experiment. It's not really scope related, but it's a close neighbor. It's fun. It's a fun video. It's a really fun video, and I really enjoyed making it. Hello, Christian's here. You could pretend your hand brace is a cool new arm augmentation from the year 3021. Well, this lets me see all of the comments right here in the palm of my hand, and it keeps me updated on good deals on eBay, so it's not really a brace. Hey, my mom and my dad are here. Hello, how are you guys doing? Since you guys are here, and I bet it's really warm there, I was talking to Blake that Canada has a really serious issue this time of year. It starts to get cold. So we're seeing below, what, 10 degrees or like 45 Fahrenheit. It's kind of sad. We're very disappointed. Anyway, I guess we have enough people here to get actually started. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please do so. This helps people finding this video and growing this channel. In the interest of growing this channel, it's important to remind you that we do this out of our kind hearts and we take our time from the rest of our lives to do this. So if you want to help this channel grow and make better, stronger, more beautiful and unique content, well, Aram's already in it with the coffee fund. You can make donations here on the super chat. You can use stickers, or you can become a member of the channel, which costs $3 a month. So it's like not even a coffee. And you're going to get early access to content. You're going to get exclusive videos, and soon enough, you're going to get more of the Anamorphic cookbook. This is actually the big reveal of today. You might, if you've been to my blog, you've seen that there's an Anamorphic cookbook tab in there, and it just says that it's the next big thing that I'm going to be working on when it comes to Anamorphic. I did the first guide back in 2015, and it ties with the subject that we're talking today, so that's good. And after that guide was done, I'm like, wow, there's so much more to cover. There's just so much to talk about regarding Anamorphic that I haven't covered here, that I should really make a cookbook about this. So it's been 5 years of collecting content and just writing things down, getting new ideas and learning new things. And back in March, I started to pool all of this content together, make a course outline kind of thing. And it became like an 8-module course, huge, that I was gonna make as a full buy this course thing, but it wasn't really working out. The format wasn't really working out. And about Charles' comment, the jitter is the capture card. It's a cheap capture card, so the top 2 lines, I think, get messed up. Anyway, the format of the course wasn't really working, so I reached out to Atlas Lensco, and they said that they were interested in sponsoring the first and the second modules. So we're in negotiations about that, and I'm hoping to bring it out soon, which means Blake and I are going to be very, very, very busy in the upcoming weeks. Because the idea is to get this out before the end of the year. So get ready. Besides the cookbook, there's this last week we saw the RS2 come out, and it has a whole autofocus module for manual focus lenses. So I'm looking into testing that out with Anamorphic. Everybody's like, wow, this seems to be the revolution. So we're going to see if it is the revolution or if it's just almost there, but not quite. It seems really promising. Anyway, now we're going to get into... Wow, this was only 5 minutes? I thought I was going to talk forever about this stuff. Hello, Lucas. How's it going? Are you at the gym again? And who else is here? Okay. Yes, Christian, the LiDAR thing. So the idea is that little thingy has a camera or has a LiDAR emitter sensor. If you know how LiDAR works, it just shoots a bunch of little lasers into the environment and collects them back, and based on the delay of the reflection, it knows how far things are. And it seems that there's a range between 1 and 4 meters where it really works, and it's only in the center of the frame. So technical things. It's also kind of sad that it only works with the Ronin. I don't want to use a Ronin. Sorry, DJI. I don't want to use a Ronin. I just wanted to have autofocus on everything just by default. I think that would be really neat. So I'm looking to try it out. I'm just waiting for a rental house in town to get it, and we're gonna see how it works. Yes, Lucas is at the gym. Hell yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then we gotta balance a very heavy setup on the RS2. That's gonna be fun, right? Okay, so let's go to the beginning of this. How did you get started into Anamorphics? I'm counting on you to hit this chat with endless messages telling me very long stories. I see there's a lot of Germans here today. Is it only today or just every time? And I never know. Let's do a poll. But yeah, tell me how you got started into Anamorphic, or if you're not started yet, what are your plans or what's holding you back into getting started? And I really want to know. I'm really curious. Like, what's the general approach? Like, is it a film that inspires you? One of the members of the channel asked what films inspired me to start doing shooting scope or getting into it. And I said my story is a bit unusual, so I'm waiting for you guys to tell me your stories so I can figure out if my story is unusual or if it's just everybody thinks one thing happens, but it's actually another thing that happens. So I guess that's it. Yeah, just Germans and Brazilians. Well, we have some content in Portuguese today. But we have subtitles. I was reading the comment here from the Weekly Online, and center focus on a 4K shoot is not a big problem if you master to 1080p, which is a very clever thing to think about. Or even 12K, 8K, and master to 4K. Just really go with wide lenses and crop. Okay, so Christian got to know scopes through these vids, watching vintage lens reviews, and then got hooked immediately and started with the Co 16H and couldn't stop. Wow, good starting point there. I'm happy to hear the videos played a part into getting you into this problem that is anamorphic shooting. I see some disappointment with the United States going in the chat. More people from Germany, man. I guess that's a market. Good thing, because I just approached Glasswork to see if they want to be a part of the Anamorphic Cookbook too. So good to know there's a good German audience. I'm happy you guys are here. Yeah, so the story for how I started into Anamorphics is I was in the last year of university back in Brazil. This was starting the last year, so it's like kind of late 2012, about to start 2013. And it was like the year of the 7D or the 5D Mark II. It was like just DSLR video getting started, full force. Everybody wanted to shoot on a Canon camera and nobody wanted to shoot on little handy cams anymore. It's like, oh my God, you can pull focus with those things. And it was a very interesting time. It was it felt like the equipment was not the limiting factor. And Canon has those really crappy kit lenses like 1855 and 55-200. But it also had the L series. So if you're not in Brazil, this might come as shocking. But when you import something to Brazil, you pay 100% tax on like electronics. If you don't declare it, you pay 100% fine on the total. So that goes to paying 4 times the price of the thing. Plus the currency exchange is not really great. Right now it's like 5-1. Let me quickly look at this. 560 Brazilian reais to $1 US. At the time it was like 250, so it was not that bad. And so when I was buying something in US dollars, I was going in to pay like 4 to 5 times the price of things. But to Canon lenses, we had Canon lenses. We didn't have to use eBay. It was just all of these taxes plus the profit from the reseller, like the store or whatever you call it. So L series were really expensive. They had great image quality, too good of image quality. And everybody just like, let's do it. 2470, 70-200, the 50 f1.2. And the cheaper 85-1.8, that 100 macro, like those were the standard lenses we were using for like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 shorts in a semester. And what happened is everybody's film kind of looked the same. It was different because it was different styles or different lighting, different camera work. But the image itself had very similar qualities because we were shooting on the same cameras and we were using always the same lenses. And I was specializing in cinematography and editing, so I was constantly looking at the footage or looking at the camera. And I'm like, man, this really looks the same. What can I do about it? So it was like late 2012, and I was in summer camp, working in summer camp as like communications coordinator. I bridged the communication between the kids and their parents. So I had a lot of free time, and I'm like, let's look up something weird that I can do with films. So I started looking into filters and whatnot, and I got to Anamorphics. And it seemed very complicated. So I bought the USHD Anamorphic Shooter's Guide, which is like the only literature on the subject that you can get besides my own guides. And it's, I think, now 8 or 9 years old. Hasn't been updated in ages. And that still like doesn't super help with understanding how things go. So I'm gonna pause here. I'm gonna tell everyone to like, and I'm gonna catch up with this chat because there's way more messages than I thought. Okay, Ankit got in because of the moment lens. And then wide lens fields of view. Favorite night shots like Michael Mann's Heat. I actually wanted to reshoot a scene from Heat back at university. I don't know why the instructors didn't think it was a good idea, man. Such a good movie. So easy to reshoot. Alright. So Ankit started to look into actual anamorphic setups with DSLR cameras range. And the first thing was my SLR Magic reviews. So from there on, it just went for. Hello to the Czech Republic. Train CZ. Oh, now I see the CZ. Monobright is asking, what's my job? I have many jobs. I was talking to an accountant yesterday, and she was like, what's your main source of income? And like, that's a trick question. I have this channel, which I take as seriously as a job, although it doesn't pay me as a job. I do camera, so I do camera assistance, I do second and first AC, I operate, and I DP. I don't love directing, and I do motion graphics. So I do animation, visual effects, and motion graphics all together, kind of post-production. And I edit all of these videos. So that's kind of a job. So it is related to camera and stuff. 100% tax, similar here in Ecuador. Yep. So that's really a South America thing. João Gabriel is here. So that's Jota. He's a friend from university. So that's fun. Happy you joined. Are you getting inspiration for your own channel? You should. Dubai. Yeah, Dubai doesn't really get cold, does it? I always wondered. Christian saying only 25% import tax here. I remember smuggling a lot of scopes out of Japan, though. Oh, man. When I went to Japan, I had to take a suitcase full of lenses, and I was there only temporarily. So we didn't want to declare the lenses, pay the tax, and then ask for the refund. So it took 2 giant luggages, and one of them had all of the gear and one of them had all of the clothes. As we're going through customs, the security guy's like, can I open one of your bags? And we're like, sure. Which one? And they pointed to the one with the clothes, and we're like, oh man, time to celebrate. They didn't choose the right one. And that's how we got in, and it was fine. So it was fine. It was not even illegal. So sneaking scopes. Being no doubt the oldest person in this chat, I grew up watching scope. Being a film major, I always wanted to shoot scope, but the cost with film was prohibitive because film is also very expensive. I never shot film. Hard to admit, but I never shot film. We're looking into changing that though. Back then, there were no vari-diopters. Well, theoretically, Lomo round fronts are vari-diopters, and they've been around for a while. There haven't been single unit vari-diopters. So that's a thing. But yeah, the lack of accessibility was one of the main elements that motivated me into going, into learning about anamorphics and doing all of this content and research. Okay. My first anamorphic was a cell phone adapter that I took apart and fitted to the front of my SLR lens. Amazing. Love the initiative there. Wow, more Czech Republic people. Nice. I became a fan of Anamorphic through Khalid Motaseb work and motion pictures, of course. There's Olin Clarity work for the Anamorphic Facebook group that made me, okay, this is gold. Yeah, it is. Yeah, okay, so back. I started researching into anamorphics and I couldn't quite figure out how that worked. How it worked. I'm like, what do I do with this lens? Where does it go? How does it connect? Do I need a regular lens and an adapter in front? Can I just put this in the camera? Why do they tell me I can't put this lens in this camera, but it can in that other camera? What's the deal here? Couldn't figure out. It was all very confusing. So I decided that I was going to be cautious and I bought 4 lenses. I was like, let's buy 4. Let's make them all very different so we can learn from this experience. So I got an LA7200, which is a fixed focus adapter from Panasonic. 1.33 squeeze, went with like mini DV cameras. I got a Kobe B&H, which is a dual focus projection lens. I got a Hypergoner Hi-Fi 2, which is huge, so large and heavy. Oh my god, I hated that lens. It was so stiff. Everything was about it. It was not great, but I made it work. And I got a Lomo Square Front 50mm. Back when it was cheap. If only I knew. So I had those 4 lenses and they came in the mail over the period of, I think, 2.5 months. Took a long time, paid a lot of tax. The LA7200 got caught in by like customs and I had to pay the equivalent of $2,500 on it. So that was my most expensive scope yet. More expensive than both the Iskuromas I ever had combined. So that was that. And then I had those 4 lenses and I'm like, how does this work now? And I only had Canon L glass. So I started pairing with those. I was like, oh, this doesn't look very good with this 50mm 1.4 lens, or this 72-200 can't get coverage in this adapter because the focal length is huge and the camera's a crop sensor, but I still get vignetting. And then the 2470 worked pretty well with the LA7200, as well as the 1635. Those two worked flawlessly. It was very good. Not so much on like the 70mm end, but I started shooting with those, just being like, how do we... I don't know, I just had a lot more... When you're in film school, you basically don't need an excuse to make short films in a weekend. So I had lots of chances and opportunity to test out these lenses on things that I didn't care very much for. And that's what I did. It was like a friend wrote a script. It's like, let's go, let's do it, let's shoot it overnight, tomorrow, and just go for it. Like improvise some lighting. Everything in Brazil is very expensive. So all the equipment is kind of jury rigged, which now I see is a very good experience to have. Like the more you can make with the least amount of equipment, when you get the proper gear, things are way easier. And if you run into trouble, you can always find a way around. So shitty rigs is a huge inspiration. Yeah, so I was doing a lot of test runs and test projects onto those things for the first semester of 2013. And then during the second semester, there were 2 things going on. The first thing was the students went on strike because this is the University of São Paulo and it's one of the best universities in the country, especially for film. But it's also a public university, so the students, we were very dissatisfied on how the university was being run, and it was voted that we would go on strike. So students were not going to class, but I still wanted to finish my work. I wanted to graduate in like the minimum time. So I continued to work, and since we weren't going to class, we weren't making films, and we were not going to shoot our graduation projects, or like I wasn't gonna be shooting graduation projects with my classmates because everybody was frozen. We could only do like academic work, theoretical work, research kind of thing, essays and theses. So I was working on a project on my research was, is it possible to shoot anamorphic on a budget? I wasn't like, oh my god, I want to make a film that is like Blade Runner, or I want to make a film that is like Alien. I was like, this is historically expensive and prohibitive, but can I do it for cheap? Can I achieve this look without paying this money? And doing that in Brazil is extra hardcore because everything is way more expensive. So I really wanted to prove that point, and buying the lenses was part of the research. And I started writing, and that's how I started my blog in Portuguese about anamorphics. Like I would post ongoing findings, being like, diopters do this, or I just learned how diopters work. And this lens performs that way. I'm having some weird D-squeeze issues kind of thing. And just doing that as in without an actual practical goal of like, I want to use this on a film. But at the same time, I was taking a very, very random class on, what is it called? It's like media production. It was not it was like an elective class in a different department, which was not on strike. So we were still making that class, and we were supposed to make a video in there. And I looked at that opportunity and I'm like, maybe I can use my natural skill of overcomplicating things and turn this into a short. So I pitched it to the instructor and to the people in the class. Everybody was hyped. The instructor was like, nobody's ever done anything complex in this class. I'm super stoked to see where this is going to go. So instead of making one short, I made 2 shorts, and we shot, like, the total was about 15 minutes of final content, which is insane to shoot in 2 days. In an abandoned building with no security, barely any crew, and improvising everything. So I wrote, directed, shot, edited, did all the post-production, edited sound. I didn't do the soundtrack, but I did the color correction. And it was a very interesting experience. I learned a ton. I got to use the lenses. I got to struggle with it. I found some footage from this, like during last week, when I was looking if I could put this live stream together, and I found some footage, some making of this short, and we're gonna get to that, I think, in a few seconds. But it's got sound, it's in Portuguese, and it's got subtitles. So you're gonna see, I'm gonna be back in like a few minutes. Have fun. It's the other one.
Tem mais alguém lá dentro?
Não tem cara de brigadista.
Confia nela? Uma pessoa que acabou de estourar a cabeça de um cara rendido?
Olha o estado dela. Ela não vai aguentar muito tempo.
Capturaram mais alguém? Mataram alguém?
Se encontrou a brigada. Anda.
Se ela chegou depois da construção do muro,
Ela sabe como sair daqui.
Achou que ia ficar por isso mesmo, né?
Aprende depressa a chamar-te de realidade, porque és o avesso do avesso do avesso.
Sad. Okay. So yeah, this trailer is what we shot after my graduation project. I have my friend Bruno Nico, who's showed up in this channel like in very early videos. He had a production company that's Astronaut Films, and him and his partner saw what I made for my graduation project, and they're like, we like this vibe. We got a couple writers who were great. We got a very good music composer who's with us here in the chat, and we shot an entire season of this the month before I moved to Canada. And as I was telling Blake earlier, this is one of my hardest projects because I am so proud of what we did, but at the same time it's not going anywhere. It'll never be finished, and it will never see the light of day. This trailer is not public anywhere, so this is the only place where you can find it. It was before 3%, and one of the directors for 3% actually directed some episodes of this show. And we shot this on the Blackmagic Pocket, the first one, using crazy adapters, but it was not shot in scope. I could not manage to get the fast pace of production that we wanted to do for that show with scope, like what we discussed in like 2 videos ago. So that's something that I'm very proud of, and what I actually shot for my graduation work is this other video, and I'll see you in a second.
Aumento de 20 centavos na tarifa do transporte público. Foi a gota d'água para que uma série de revoltas e manifestações estourassem pelo país. A repressão policial foi violenta. O clima era de guerra civil. O número de mortos sobe vertiginosamente. O último passo foi isolar parte da cidade com a construção de uma enorme parede de concreto, prendendo os que estavam do lado de dentro.
Lari, entra na porta à sua direita.
As pessoas já chegam obedecendo o que fala.
Cortou?
Sendo dirigidas.
Sim, a arte está tão ligada nesses detalhes que todos os objetos são feitos à base de milho.
Tá.
Inclusive as espingardas. Eu não consigo levar isso sério, desculpa. A sujeira que eu comentei que é a base de milho é uma sujeira vermelha. Que no caso é utilizada para ferimentos.
Experimentos em geral.
Ferimentos em geral.
achado desse
Excelente, velho.
curta? Excelente.
Som do quê?
Do curta?
Ah,
É uma carne vegetariana?
Extraída de vegetais.
Que legal. O que é?
Gelatina.
É gelatina? É. Cheiro doce.
Pensando muito bem se depois eu vou conseguir sair desse personagem.
E você achou muito a ver
achei
com a
que
sua
tinha-
personagem?
Tinha tudo a ver.
A gente corre no CTR, logo essa porra toda.
Cara, o CTR tá aberto essa hora.
Mira eso, ensucia y vamos a hacer... Porque...
vamos embora porque a hora tá passando, né?
Apitaram a diretora de arte pra fazer o filme. Vai, maqueia aí logo. De novo.
Ai, gente, como é que tira isso da cara dele? Não sai mais.
I got cut in the final. My bit was cut. All right, so we're back. So yeah, that's a little bit of BTS. It's 2 days of shoot. We had mainly an episode that takes place during the day, and an episode that's focused on low light because I want to test 2 different setups. So for the day stuff, I was using the photon, so it's here, and I have a scale right here. So we're gonna see how much that weighs. Yeah, 3.3 kilograms, just the lens. I don't know if this is the max. No, it's not. It's not the max of the scale. So the lens by itself weighs like 3.3 kilograms, which translates to, is it 15 pounds? 3.3 to pounds. Well, 7. I definitely got that wrong. So that was for the day part, and I used a Canon 50D with Magic Lantern. That was a camera that did not even record video, but Magic Lantern allowed it to record raw video. It was awesome. Very, very inconsistent. Crashed 1,000 times. Lots of fun. And then for the nighttime, or for the low light part, we used an Iskorama. We had a pre-36, and I think I had a 54 at the time. With the 5D3 also shooting raw thanks to Magic Lantern, and pushing the grade a lot harder. Somewhere in the middle, I realized that using Canon L glass was not cutting it, so I sold all my lenses and I bought some vintage glass. I bought Galius, Jupiter, Tire. That's how I got into also Russian glass. So I shot this for a class, made this into 2 episodes. I'm posting the link to the first one in the chat. I'm going to post the second one for members this Friday. And those episodes are what inspired that trailer that I showed you just a couple minutes ago. From there, from having this practical experience on set of using the lenses, you can see that it's been like 8 years. I have not balanced the camera properly yet. I'm still like leaning back like a crazy person. The bandana, I also don't know where that came from. I have no other images of me wearing a bandana besides that one day. So it might have been like, I'm on set, this is crazy, whoa, here we go. Real guerrilla filmmaking. Gotta be a revolutionary, man. So there was that. And I started combining all of the theory research that I was doing with the practical experience of being on set and trying to recreate looks that I saw in other films. So I had like references from lots of post-apocalyptic films and games. Games were always a very important part of my references and inspiration. What is this? That's why Lucas goes to the gym 3 times a week. Yep. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. Yeah, Magic Lantern crashes. Can you hear the?
I can feel it.
Yeah, downstairs neighbors just cranking the bass or the subwoofer, and the floor shakes. I don't know if you guys can hear it. But yeah, so we have a coffee fund going on and a camera replacement fund somewhere. I haven't used Magic Lantern Raw in a very long time. Wow, this is insane.
Yeah.
It seems like somebody's punching the ceiling. Yeah, so I put together all of this stuff, practical side, theoretical side. There was nobody shooting anamorphic in South America. I went to all of the used lens shops and specialty stores, and I was like, do you guys have anamorphic lenses? And they were like, no, what? So I got nothing. Everything had to come through eBay, and I had to interact with a lot of people. I had to get good at English, not only because I was moving to Canada, but also because I needed to get information for my research. And then I wrote this 100-page paper about using anamorphics on a budget. And that's actually the beginning of this channel. I moved to Vancouver, realized that although I had done that in Portuguese, there was no equivalent in English. So I spent 2 international flights translating 100 pages. One going to Brazil, the other one coming from Brazil. To write the original free Anamorphic on a Budget guide, which is still on my blog. And years later, I revised, and like last year, I re-uploaded it, a revised expanded edition, which fixes a lot of translation issues and like language things that I got figured out after speaking English for so long. And added some more information, some more relevant information, since Magic Lantern is not as wildly popular anymore as some other subjects like aspect ratio controlling and settings. Water. The trick is to get ice in the cup so it refills after you drink all of it. Let's see here. Magic Lantern almost never crashed. Pink dots. I don't think I had many pink dots. I did have a lot of crashes, but these were the very early days of raw video. So things were hectic. It was very, very like, how do they call it? The nightly builds? It's like, oh, this feature was just implemented last night. Do you want to try it? And I'm like, yes, give me. So there was a lot of using unstable builds for the recording, which also meant like losing shots here and there, but the quality boost that you would get from shooting raw was definitely worth the risk of using and like losing shots. I could only achieve the look that I achieved by bypassing the system and recording raw. Let's see here. Magic Lantern over the limit. Yeah. Okay, alright. I get very stuttery playback. Stravel is asking how long I've been speaking English. I studied English before moving to Canada, but I only really started to do it like on a daily basis in mid 2014. And only actually started to work on it about a year later when I started hanging out with Ariana, and I would ask her everything, being like, hey, how do you say this word? How do you say that word? What does this mean? What does that mean? Because having a native English speaker available at all times is a much easier way to learn. I also wanted things to be more accessible in this channel, so I didn't want my accent to get in the way. And you can see that in the very early videos. You can see there's an accent, and it's also a very bad sound. So I've been doing English, I guess, for 5 years, kind of thing. English is better than Portuguese. Portuguese is much harder than English. Ariana is trying to learn Portuguese, and she's having such a hard time. It's also very inspiring to see her trying to learn and constantly challenge herself. Is a very, very motivating thing to be in close contact with. So yeah, my start with Anamorphics was, I want to prove that this technical thing is doable within this budget restraint. It was not even like, I want this look for my project. It was more of a dare kind of situation. And then I just kept pushing forward with the channel because I wanted others to have the same kind of access. Like, it sucked to buy 4 lenses and be like, yeah, I kind of hate this one doesn't work, and that one only works in a very specific circumstance. So I wasted all this money and then having to resell everything, lose money in the process. And I was like, well, if I can help others to not go through this, why not? So that's the origin of this channel, and the whole idea for the Anamorphic cookbook is beyond that. Is like, okay, you have some understanding of Anamorphic. Here's some stuff that you usually don't hear about, like a lot of history and a lot of nitpicking about how the lenses work, talking about astigmatism, double focus, other focus mechanisms, and all that kind of stuff. I think this is everything I had. I talked a lot. If you have questions, shoot them in the comments, in the chat. I've only had Aram making a donation in this episode, which is good on him, bad on everybody else. So jump on that button, guys. Firestarter Man, I love using Kodak Eastman 5247 film emulator LUT. Get a film look similar to Terminator and Alien, but it's created, told me his color sense is close to the Canon C300. Not so much to ML, Magic Lantern RAW from Canon. My biggest question about Canon since the origin of Magic Lantern is, why didn't they just buy it? Thank you, Afote. Thank you. That's great. You are awesome. But why didn't Canon just buy Magic Lantern? Like, fund those guys. They literally extended the life of their cameras. Like, I don't know why people would still use Canon cameras if it wasn't for the features brought on by Magic Lantern. I don't know. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. What else? Yeah, I don't know. We have a lot to shoot today. We're shooting 6 more videos today. And, oh yeah, I think it's important to let you guys know that there's no live streaming next week. Because we're on set. Or I'm on set.
We're on set.
Yeah. I'm on set on Wednesday. We're on set on Thursday. They're like, we can't reduce participation, only one day, and it's boom, Wednesday. I'm like, oh man, okay. So I'm not gonna be here next Wednesday. If you got any pressing questions, this is the time. for people talking about LUTs, if you know Ichidomo or Tim Moichido, he's on the Facebook group. He's also the genius with lots of amazing GH5 anamorphic videos. He's been working on the vitamin A LUT for more than a year now, I think. And it's mind-blowing, it's amazing. I've been using it for the last handful of videos. Every time somebody comments, be like, hey, what's vitamin A and where can I find it? So this is just a call out for Tim to just push his stuff out and just, dude, start distributing this. Everybody loves it. It's great. You can always improve it. And that's a LUT for vlog, and it gives you amazing natural colors. Just click and drag, done. All right, behind the scenes. Okay, I will upload behind the scenes footage for members later on as well. The same video that you guys saw here, I'm gonna upload that. The teaser, that was the first thing that we showed. I'm not uploading anywhere. It's just gonna be here, hidden away. If somebody finds it good, if not, I don't have the rights for that song, so that's why it's never been made public. Hopefully YouTube won't catch it, but we'll see. We'll see. This video might get demonetized. Oh, okay. So that's so Imhotep is, first of all, he's the motivator for this episode. He was the one who was like, tell us why you started Into Anamorphics. So if you like this episode, thank him. He's a member of this channel. Good guy. And he's pointing out that because Magic Lantern sold more Canon DSLRs and they weren't responsible, so they could continue selling larger, more expensive cine or video cameras. And I guess there's a point to that, until Sony came in and just like broke both of their legs by just giving the features that we wanted. So yeah, it's a thing. Yeah, Ichidomo's amazing. His stuff is truly, truly wonderful. And he's a great guy. Got to meet him last year. It was awesome. Oh man, Lucas can't send a super chat or animated GIF. Why is that? What happens? Are you on mobile? Oh, it's because you're on mobile. I think it doesn't work if you're on your phone. Oh well, I appreciate your intention. Firestarter Man, I wish I haven't spent so much money on trying to rehouse and print additional parts for the 35 NAP, Lomo NAP, NAP. I wish I went straight to Cinelux and some sharper and lighter single focus than a giant lens. So yeah, that is the whole point of the cookbook, is like finding lenses that will work for you instead of, this is the cheapest, let's make that work. Because it doesn't, how are you going to convince a lens to work? It just doesn't go. All right, I think this is it. I really appreciate you guys hanging out here with us today. It was great. It was fun. I talked my voice off. How am I going to do 5 more videos after this? I don't know. Thank you very much for joining. If you're not a member of this channel and you're here until the end, you really should. If you're like, no, I don't have $3 to spend, hit the like button. Members do get more videos and more content. So it's just, how much more anamorphic do you want to see? But yeah, okay, this is it for me. I'll see you on Monday for the next video, and members get a video on Friday. I'll see ya. Bye. This side now.
Oh, big stretch.
Yes. All right.